Hello and welcome to Visions. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Mohan Bhagwandas, who is the International Coordinator of Initiatives of Business. Welcome to the program, Mohan.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to call Australia home?
I am a world citizen, I suppose. My father was born in Pakistan now, but it was India then. And he went to Sri Lanka where he met my mother, so I'm part Indian, part Sri Lankan. And around about the 70s, the family migrated to Australia. So we've been here for 30 years in Melbourne.
Wow.
And we're quite a clan now. The entire community has migrated here and live in different parts of Melbourne.
Right.
So that's what brought me to Australia.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're the International Coordinator for the Initiatives of Business, which are trying to bring about integrity and trust in the business and global economy. Do you think this is a realistic venture?
I think it's very realistic and very necessary too, because business now plays a very big role in our society, and what we are trying to do is to bring together business leaders who aspire and believe in values and ethics in business. And there's many business leaders around the world who are building values and ethics in their business and trust and integrity, and we aspire to bring these people together and get them to meet with civil society, with NGOs, with young professionals, people in business schools, so that there can be a real dialogue about where we are taking our society and our world. And as you know, we are living in a global community where work is outsourced, and factories do their manufacturing in China, and it's so we are really living in a global community. So how do we really build values and ethics and trust in this fast-changing world that we're living in?
And it pays to really make the effort to build that trust and integrity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it also is important for not just looking at the bottom line, and that's very important for an organization, but what are the responsibilities that a corporation or a company can have towards society. And there's some amazing examples of what people are doing. We may not hear about it every day. We seem to maybe hear when there's some crisis or something negative that happens in society, but many business corporations are playing a valuable role in assisting the community, but it maybe doesn't hit the front page of the headlines as much as it should.
And their businesses are probably going really well as well, aren't they?
Indeed. Now, for example, I was in India in November and met some really interesting people there. One of them was the head of the Tata Corporation. Now, that's a very large company in India. And you may have seen last week they released the cheapest car in the world, just for $2,500, just making it available to the ordinary Indians.
Yeah, wow.
However, they have a tremendous community development program as part of their company culture, and they spend about $73 million a year assisting communities that are in need, and particularly communities where their factories have been established, because they have a economic and environmental impact and so on. So they're doing they are contributing back into society what they take out of the community. So these are some hopeful things that we are finding through our work with business. Yeah.
And where is Core Initiatives of Business? Is it a place? Is it a thing?
Yeah, Core is Core is in a fantastic place in Switzerland, above the Lake of Geneva. It was an amazing hotel in the early part of in the 1920s and 30s, where some great names used to come there. Then it got disused during the Second World War, and after the war, the Swiss families who felt that they were spared from the terrible impact of the war, and they contributed money to buy this place to bring reconciliation and healing in Europe. So that center has been running for the last 60 years as a center for initiatives of change.
And why are you personally involved in this program to bring values to businesses?
Well, I have a real vision for business. I think that business plays a very important role in our daily lives. Small business, large corporations. Well, we've been seeing what's happening in a negative way. We've been seeing what's happening in the US recently with what they call the subprime market now. It's a very complex thing and I don't fully understand what it means, but what's happened is that there's been a financial collapse. And somewhere behind all that collapse is the question of how were those businesses run? How was that subprime market conducted? Was it conducted with trust and integrity? The answer, I don't know, but it appears that things could have been better, run better. And as a result, you and I may also be impacted by it by paying higher interest rates, perhaps, because we've got to now recover the losses that many banks have made, etc.
And do you think some of these problems caused by people trying to cut corners or trying to rip off the system a little bit or rip off their business or something and not being honest in what they're actually doing because they're thinking, oh, this will speed it up a bit, we'll be more successful if I do all these sneaky things?
I think that's quite true, and also I think we are looking at things in a very short-term perspective now in our world today. We want things to happen yesterday, and so we bend the rules and we cut corners and so on in order to achieve results. And sometimes it's almost like business people have to show that they have increased in the share price, so they may cut corners and do things that otherwise they wouldn't do. So really working towards the long-term benefit of our society, sustaining the planet and building sustainable businesses is really something we have to think very deeply about, because even the climate change is telling us that there's something not quite right with what's going on.
We're about to go to a break now.
Okay.
You're watching Visions. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.